All right, so set yourself up well. You want to make sure that you're completely comfortable as we move into this gentle yoga and mindfulness class. As we near the end of the practice, we're going to do a little sit for meditation, and that meditation will be around the acronym STOP. And you can use that mindfulness acronym in your practice tonight. We're stopping, we're pausing. When we do these longer holds, there's a pause. The T, take a conscious breath, meaning know that you're breathing in and out and start to be aware of that sensation. The O, and I really want you to bring this piece forward in your asana. Asana means poses. So in each pose, bring the O around, which is observe what is arising within you in the pose. This was one thing that I was taught a lot in yoga teacher training, to look beyond the pose, look deeper than the pose, and what is arising within you. And then from there, proceed intentionally, okay, from this more wakeful, alert presence. So the knees are propped, the head is propped, you're across that bolster, you're starting to get comfortable. Take a few deeper breaths in and out. And as you take those deeper breaths in and out, start to notice where you are. You're now on the floor. The perspective is a little different on the floor than when you're sitting up. And man, oh man, our perspective is changing all the time in our world right now. So take your time to shift your perspective, to find a sense of grounding where you are. As you start to deepen the breath on the exhale, let the body actually feel the letting go of that breath, almost as if you're letting go of the day and moving closer inward. So one of the first things in a mindfulness practice is that we ground in the body and then we open to the breath. And this is true in our gentle yoga class. In every class, we start this way. So we'll scan through our body, grounding and anchoring into the body. We'll open to the breath to become more present right here, right now. So notice the entire scalp, the top, the back, and the sides of your head. Notice the muscles of the forehead, around the eyes. Maybe relax the eyes back toward the back of the head. Notice the muscles of the jaw, specifically the outside corners of the mouth, relaxing there. Bring your awareness down into the neck and throat. What are you aware of there? What is there? Can you relax or soften? Become aware of the shoulders. In the back, your shoulder blades, and in the front, the collarbones. Notice the arms all the way down into the hands, and don't forget the fingers and thumbs. Become aware of the chest, the back, the belly, and the rib cage. And the hips, pelvis, and buttocks. Now actually draw your awareness, your attention fully down into the legs, noticing the upper legs and the knees, lower legs, feet and toes. Now, after we've observed what is arising inside, we proceed intentionally in the body, anchored, grounded, and present. Let's take a couple of conscious breaths here. Notice the breath moving in and notice the breath moving out. Deepen the breath. Don't force that. The way to deepen the breath is to soften the belly. Let the breath move a little bit lower. And notice how that feels right now, because we're going to work with the breath a few times tonight. Where is that breath going? Is it in the throat? Is it in the chest? Or can you feel it in the lower belly? Feel it in the ribs, in the back? Just make a mental note of that in the back of the mind. And just continue here for a few moments, becoming more conscious of your own breath. All right. So notice if as you become more aware and conscious of the breath, what changes? Does the breath become smoother? Does it become fuller? What shifts or changes? We're going to shift our attention now more toward the body as we move into our asana. As we move into the poses, keep the connection of noticing the breath at the same time. Begin to welcome movement. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Roll your head gently from side to side. Move into the master stretch. On the inhale, take the arms up. Lengthen from fingertips to toes. As you exhale, hug everything in the center. Rock or move in any way that you need to. When you bring those knees in, just start to make some circles. So make some circles with those knees. Let's give time to massage the low back. Go in the opposite direction here. Come back to the center. Take the knees wide and make circles with those knees. So take the knees wide away from you, then bring them up and circle them in. So the knees are actually moving out, away from you, and then in toward you. Out, away from you. Now go in the opposite direction. This might take a little coordination. It's okay. Be patient. Even though we're getting into the hip and low back are also connected. You can think of sort of like the triad, hamstring, hip, low back. Awesome. Now come back to the center. Yep. Hug in on your exhale. Inhale, push that away. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, push it away. Exhale, knees come in. Inhale, knees go away. Keep that going. 2 more. Good. Next exhale, go ahead and rest those knees in and just interlace your hands around both those knees and pause here and just rock again. Just move the hips side to side here. You're going to feel that in the low back. Awesome. Bring both hands to the right knee. Go ahead and take that left leg long. Line that right knee and thigh up. There's a tendency for the right foot to sickle, what we call sickle in toward the midline, and the right knee to go out. So keep the right knee over the chest and rib cage and the foot in line with the knee. Let the hands get heavy, arms get heavy as you relax from the right knee down into that right hip. Start to relax your shoulders. Relax the jaw. We want to give this some time here. Another breath. If you're tight in the hip creases, you're going to feel this right in that groin. See if you can relax through there. And now bring both knees in and pause for a moment and observe the difference. Observe what is there, what's arising. And let's switch that over. Both hands to left knee. Right leg is going to extend back across the bolster. Left thighs over the rib cage, knee in line with the chest. Relax those shoulders. Some of us like to put our hands down at the shin. I'm going to recommend that you bring the hands up more closer to the knee. It's a little bit of a different angle with the weightiness of the hands and arms, and so the thigh actually feels that differently. It's a different sort of muscle group that we're trying to hit. So relax from the left knee down into that left hip. If the mind is sort of wandering, come back and find the breath. And it's not that thinking is wrong. We need to think. But sort of reflect. Do you overthink? Probably for most of us, our answer is yes. So in our practice, we let go of the overthinking and our focus becomes more on the breath and the body. A few more breaths here. And now bring both knees in on that exhale. And again, observe. What's arising? What are you noticing? Bring the bottoms of the feet to the bolster here. Been working with this pose a lot just because most of us, I should say, are holding a lot of tension and emotion in our hips right now. So bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees splay out. There's a gentle drawing in of the lower belly here just to support the low back so there's not a big arch in the low back. This drawing in of the lower abdominals is very important for those of you that have low back challenges. So this is the core. This is one thing that starts to engage the core is below the belly button, about 4 fingers. Yep, it's that low. Draw that gently in. Your glutes are going to engage a little bit when you do that. Now see if you can settle into that where the glutes relax a bit as well. Relax from the groins out through the knees, and the hands can be out by your sides. A few more breaths here. Relax the shoulders and the jaw. As the pelvic floor starts to open more in this position, you might find it a little easier as well to bring that lower belly gently in. Using your hands at your thighs, go ahead and bring the knees in. Place your feet flat. Draw both knees in. Just rock side to side. Okay, and we're going to move into half happy baby. So you're going to place one foot on the floor. You can either put it on the bolster or scooch that bolster. That's going to be what I recommend. Scooch that bolster away from you and place your left foot flat. Bring your right knee in, right arm on the inside of that right leg. Reach across the top of your foot, grab your pinky, and come into half happy baby. Now, when you get here, I'm hoping you can see my screen. I'm going to relax my heel down a little bit and then push it away from me so that I'm making circles. I'm actually revolving my hip joint. So I really want to kind of lubricate that hip joint, which will move into my low back as well. So notice how I'm sort of moving the foot a little bit, which moves the knee and moves the hip. And I'm making like circles. Now go in the opposite direction. Again, the movement, yes, it's in the foot and the knee, but it is also down in the hip. So get that feeling as best you can. All right, come back into full half happy baby and notice if it goes down easier than typical. So we really got into that joint, warmed it up. We sort of oiled it, you might say. And now you might find half happy baby a little easier. Notice how, again, this is in the hip joint and the groin, but it also, maybe you can tell, it goes into the low back right above the glute. Slowly release, bring that foot down, and just windshield wiper here. Come back to the center. Let it all integrate. And notice, again, does one side of the low back lower or higher? Check into the hip, observe. Let's move into the left side. Left half happy baby. Left arm comes on the inside of the left leg. I reach across the top of my foot, grab my pinky. Now I'm going to relax the heel down, and I'm going to start to rotate that foot. We're sort of lubricating that joint, sort of oiling the joint. My knee, my foot, my hip, it's moving. Couple more in this direction. Now go the other way. And you might feel different on this side than you did the other side. Two more. All right, and now come into half happy baby on this side. Again, notice, does it move down to the floor a little easier than typical? Slowly release, bring that foot down, feet are wider than hips, and windshield wiper. You're going to grab your strap now, so reach for your strap. Bring one foot up and bring that strap across the foot, bring the other foot up, and then take the feet wide like you're doing full happy baby and use the strap to draw those thighs down. So we're going to add a little resistance here. Straps around the ball of the foot. We're going to add a little resistance here. A gentle pressing up through the strap at the ball of the foot. My knees are bent. I'm in half happy baby. I mean full happy baby. But my legs are engaged as I press up through the ball of my foot. Now you're going to feel that affect the low back. What do you notice when you engage your legs and press through the ball of the foot? What do you notice in your low back? Engage your lower belly. Now relax that and let the thighs come down. Maybe they'll come down a little bit more. Lower belly gently and press through the ball of the feet. What do you notice in the low back when you engage that belly and engage these legs? Keep that and rock. Just rock the feet. Come back to center. Relax that. Maybe the thighs will go down. We're going to do this one more time. All right. Press the ball of the foot into the strap. Notice what happens when you engage those legs in that lower belly. I'm laughing because I have a tendency to have a tight spot on my left side of my low back, and it's like totally releasing it, which is really nice. And again, rock it side to side with the legs engaged. Back to the center, relax. And slowly take that strap off. You can place that strap to the side, bring your feet down, windshield wiper. Bring both knees in and make hip circles here. Let's just integrate that a little bit more. Go the other direction. Have that strap where you can reach it though, because we're going to come back and use it again. Great. All right, take your left leg across your bolster or extend it out on your mat. Strap your right ball of the right foot and take that right foot to the sky. Look at that foot and make sure that it's at neutral. It's not tipping in or away from you. It's actually in neutral. Okay. Hold on to the strap here. If your left leg is extended, gently press the left thigh down. And we're going to press right heel and right ball of the foot toward the sky. As you do that, as you do that, relax the leg. I know it's kind of a paradox. How can you press and relax? You're using the muscles in the ball of the foot and the heel. You're going to feel that extend through the hamstring. But relax a little bit more at the thigh. Relax a little bit more at the thigh. Relax a little bit more at that hip. Yep, there you go. Nice. Notice when you relax at that hip. Now check out the low back on both sides. You're probably maybe sensing or feeling one part of the low back is like, oh yeah, it's there, anchored into the floor. Strap in your right hand. Now keep the ball of the foot and the heel pressing. Take the leg to the right. Keep it in the air. Try not to let it land on the ground. Keep pressing the ball. Oh yeah, ball and heel. You're going to feel that in the inner thigh. Make sure you're not locking out that knee. You always want to keep a slight bend. Now bend the knee more, a lot, and bring the leg back up to the sky. Bend the knee, release that strap. Just for a second here, because we're going to go. Notice the difference. Wow. Maybe you're feeling a huge difference on one side. We'll leave it at that. Bring that left knee in. Let's strap the left foot. Keep your right leg long. Press the right thigh down. You're going to have to engage lower belly here. Right thigh down. Okay. Press heel and press ball of the foot to the sky. You can feel that in the back of the hamstring. Make sure there's always a slight bend in the knee. So that foot at neutral. Keep that happening. And start to relax the thigh, left thigh and left hip. It's a whole different world when you do that, even though you're pressing through the ball and the heel of the foot. These little subtle movements, I love them because they always amaze me. It's like, wow, this is so cool to feel where this is happening in the body. Strap in your left hand. Take the leg out to the left. Keep pressing through the heel and through the ball of the foot. You're going to feel that in the inner thigh. Keep your right hip on the floor. If it lifts, you've gone a little too far. Bend that knee, come back up, straight up. Bend that knee, release that strap, both feet out on your mat. All right, check it out. Notice how that's affected the hips and the low back. Not only that, notice if your core is engaged a little more. All right, place your feet flat. Cross right thigh over left thigh. Right leg over left leg, right thigh over left thigh. Draw those knees in. If you can catch the front knee, okay. If you can catch the back knee, that's good. See if you can catch the shins. If you can catch your shins, take an inhale, exhale, draw those in. If you catch the knees, take an inhale, exhale, draw those in. Those of you that are holding on to your shins, see if you can walk your fingers down to your feet and grab your feet. For those of you at your feet, take your feet up and wide. Take an inhale here, exhale, draw the knees in. And it's fine to stay with hands at shins, hands at knees. That's why I'm giving you all these different variations. Where's your breath? Remember the T and stop. Take a conscious breath. Release the feet, release the shins, release the knee, uncross legs, feet to the floor, wider than hips, and windshield wiper. Extend both legs long. Pause, notice. What are you observing? Place your feet flat, left thigh over right thigh. Draw the knees in. You can hold front knee, back knee behind the thighs. You can hold the shins. If you're at the shins, see if you can walk your hands down to your feet. Take the feet up and wide. Legs are still crossed. Take an inhale. Exhale, draw the knees in, thighs in. And whatever variation you have is absolutely perfect for you. Another breath. Release the feet. Uncross the legs. Windshield wiper left and right. All right, come back to the center there. Walk your heels in a little closer to your seat. Again, in bridge pose where we're not supported by a block. So this is going to be regular bridge pose. So you're going to want to engage lower belly. So again, 4 fingers below the below the belly button, 4 fingers below the belly button. Draw that in toward your spine. Okay. Heels a little closer to your seat. As we press into our heels and lift our hips, take the arms up overhead. I'm not really into how high your lift is. It doesn't matter. It's okay, whatever your height is. Your inner thighs are also engaged here. So the inner thighs are hugging to your center toward the midline. Try to keep the knees in rather than letting them go out. And as you exhale, draw the arms down, bring the hips in. It's more engagement of the core rather than height here. Take a breath. Inhale, press into the feet, draw the lower belly, engage the inner thighs, hips come up, arms come up overhead. You're in bridge pose. Keep your breath going. Feel that engagement. Glutes, you feel it there as well. Breath is going. Observe what is arising. Exhale, lower arms and lower hips. Great. We got one more of those. All right, press into the feet. Engage inner thighs, engage lower belly. Lift hips. Roll your shoulders under and take the arms up overhead. Make sure again that the knees aren't splaying wide. Knees, inner thighs are all kind of hugging toward your midline. Breath is easy. Exhale, coming down, hips down, arms down. Take your feet wide and windshield wiper here. Beautiful. Hug your knees in. Hug up into a little ball. Rocking gently there. Or roll on to right or left side, whichever one is easier for you to get to. You can inhale and an exhale there. Using your hands and arms. Coming all the way up. Sit comfortably for a moment. All right. Sitting comfortably, gently close your eyes. Feel into the low back and the hips. What sensations are there? What's arising? Is it heavier? Is it lighter? Is it more tense? Is it tight? We're just simply noticing. All right. Slowly opening the eyes and come all the way up to standing. I'm going to adjust my camera. I love this new camera because of its clarity, but it doesn't give a good wide view. Okay, have blocks handy because you might need them. So let's bring them over. For now, feet are hip distance. Start to engage the core. So when we talk about engaging the core, everything is hugging toward the midline. And from that powerhouse of strength, we expand out. Bring your hands to your hips here and step your right foot forward. Now, when you keep that right foot forward, make sure that it looks like the feet are still hip distance apart. So you're not like this, okay? Get yourself some room. You're wide, hip distance apart. Walk that front foot out until you can bend the knee. And the back foot, press through the heel. Front foot, bend the knee. And inhale, go ahead and take the arms up overhead. Now, with the arms up overhead, I still want you to put your attention here at the low belly and gently draw that low belly in, and you're going to feel that actually open up through this back hip crease and thigh more. So that's what we're engaging right there. Lower belly in, and think about your tailbone going down. Great. Pressing through that back heel. Make sure there's not a lock in that back knee. Bending that front knee. Maybe you can bend that front knee a little bit more. Breath is going. Bringing the hands down. Hands at the waist. Push off the back heel and step forward. Awesome. All right, walk it back a little bit toward the back of your mat again. Feet are hip distance. We're going to step the left foot forward now. Again, make sure we are hip distance here. Press through the back of the heel. Engage lower belly and tailbone. And the minute you do this, you're going to feel it more in the groin and the back thigh. Bend the front knee. Inhale, take the arms up. That's it. Keep your breath going. As you can, draw the lower belly gently in a little bit more. Take that tailbone down. You're going to feel it again here, this area. Think about the hips hugging midline as well. Bring the hands down. Push off the back foot. Step it forward and just walk that out. Maybe walk toward the back of your mat again. All right. If you need the assistance of the blocks, go ahead and take that now. You can take it between the thighs if you want, especially if your low back is kicking in. So it goes up closer to the upper thigh. If you do not wish to take that block, that's fine too. Step back maybe, I don't know, a little more than a foot from your block. Feet come in a little bit more than hip distance. Bend the knees, take an inhale, exhale, start to fold down. You can place your hands on the block if you want. You can bring the hands directly to the floor. Whatever works for you. If your hands can go to floor, then what I'm going to do is say, take hand to foot pose. So the hand goes under the foot and you step on the hand. Let the head hang. Think about your sits bones moving to the sky. Think about those inner thighs still gently engaged. If you're in hand and foot pose, then gently press into the hand. And bend the knees. You can bring your hands out under the feet. bend the knees, hands to the back, and slowly come all the way up. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, bring hands and prayer, Anjali Mudra, to the heart. Great. And then come down to all fours. So all the way down to all fours. Let's just take just a couple of cat-cows. So from your all fours, take an inhale, exhale up into your cat. And inhale into your cow. Keep that going. One more of each. And a nice flat back here. Find a blanket. You're going to sit on one blanket. Have an extra one near you because you're going to put that under your knees. All right. Okay. So from here, bring both legs out in front of you and draw those legs together. My apologies, I don't have a second blanket handy. It's behind me, so I'm going to pull my sandbag underneath my knees just to support the knee so it doesn't lock out. Okay, those of you that might have low back challenges, any forward fold that you do can be a little more challenging on the back. That's why I prompt the block between the thighs when we did our forward fold and a block where your hands go. That's to adjust it to help meet those needs. In a seated forward fold, you always want to make sure that you do not forward fold into pain, okay? Edge, yeah, like tightness, you feel it. Maybe you could go right to the edge of that tightness, but there's no pain. So that folding position will be different for every single person, okay? Engage lower belly. We've already talked about that. The minute you engage that belly, you're going to feel yourself lengthen up. Take an inhale here. Exhale. We're going to hinge at the hips. Keep the lower belly gently in. Hinge at the hips. Now, what is your range of motion according to your low back? Can you draw the hands down to the feet, out to the side, to your shins? Where does it feel okay for you? Tuck the chin into the throat. Relax the shoulders. And start to come into your fold. Again, that fold is going to be different for each and every person. Keep the feet engaged. So the toes are going to point to the ceiling. The foot, again, is at neutral. If you're tight on one side, you're going to find that one foot rolls in or it rolls out. That's the one you got to watch. And that's the side of the body you need to pay attention to. Easy breaths here. Now, are you leaning to one side? You can kind of get a sense for that by noticing your sits bones. Is there more weight in one hip than the other? Good. Another few breaths. Slowly walk this up. Feet flat. Move that blanket out from underneath you and sit with legs crossed. All right, check it out. What is arising? What are you observing? Yep, what are you observing in the body? Because that's home. That's home base. In our mindfulness practices, that's where we always go to in our yoga practices. You got to start with you first. Okay. I'm going to start adding to each of the classes that I teach two very important breath poses right now. I've been cultivating these two asanas for a while with the breath practice, and it's needed right now to keep our nervous system in check. So we're going to do crocodile pose on a bolster. We're going to do that for 2 to 3 minutes. And then we're going to do lying down on our back, sandbag on our belly, abdominal breathing, 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, I know. 2 or 3 minutes might seem like a long time. Stephanie, do you know what can happen in my mind in 2 or 3 minutes? I do, because it happens in mine too. Just bear with me. Keep it going. We can do this together. So find your bolster. You won't need your blanket. You're going to put that bolster out on your mat. Okay. Thighs and torso go on the bolster, and enough to where your head can come off. My chest is right at the top. It's actually on the bolster. I'm going to stack the fist and rest my forehead on my fist. You have a couple options with your feet. If you can turn your toes out and your heels in, that is more true crocodile. Okay? So toes out, heels in. Let me get my timer. You'll start to imagine, sense, or feel the breath coming in at the low belly. Imagine that belly filling up like a balloon. You're going to feel the belly press against the bolster as it fills like a balloon. You're also going to feel the low back fill with breath. As you exhale, feel the low back and the low belly both move toward the spine. As you inhale, the belly and the back fills with breath. You're going to feel the belly push into the bolster. As you exhale, belly and back move toward the spine. Now keep that going. We've got 2 to 3 minutes. The breath is in and out through the nose. If the nose is stuffy, you can do the mouth, but if you can do in and out through the nostrils, that would be wonderful. If not, don't worry. Breathe in and out through the mouth. One more breath, in and out. Breathe naturally. Using your hands, your knees, slowly come up to all fours. You can remove that bolster. Come down onto your back. Have your weight handy, whatever that might be. Onto your back. Your feet, I'm going to recommend, if you have low back challenges, to keep your feet flat, knees up. If you don't, you can extend the legs out, but remember you are adding weight here. So reach over, grab that weight. Now the weight needs to go at the lower belly. Make sure that it's not hitting your rib cage, especially the lower ribs that fan out here at the bottom, okay? The weight or the book or whatever you're using is not hitting those ribs. All right, here we go. Same thing. We're going to breathe into the lower belly, filling the breath, the belly up with that breath. And as the belly fills with breath, it pushes the sandbag away from you. As you breathe out and the air moves out of the belly, the sandbag moves down toward the floor. You are not pushing the muscles, okay? It's the breath that is filling the belly that is moving the sandbag or your weight, okay? It's not you forcing it with your muscles. So keep going. We'll start our 3 minutes now. Imagine the breath coming in and out at the low belly. Keep the jaw relaxed, face soft. One more inhale and exhale. As you breathe naturally, remove the sandbag or the weight, whatever you have. Extend your legs long. Arms by your side. Take a big deep breath in and out and notice where the breath is going now. Think back to the beginning of the class and where you felt the breath at the very beginning when you were in Shavasana. And what about now? If you want to stay in this position for your Shavasana, you're welcome to stay here. If you would like to bring the knees in, roll on right or left side, come up and set your stack up for your Shavasana, feel free to do that now. I'll do the meditation piece lying down since we don't have a tremendous amount of time left. And I wanted to get those 2 breath practices done. If you want a sandbag, please email me so that we can coordinate times. I don't remember how much they are, to be honest. I'll have to go over to the studio and see. They were either $7 or $10. I don't remember which one. I think. Anyway, go ahead and get comfortable. Take a nice long in-breath and a slow, easy out-breath. And another nice long in-breath, slow, easy out-breath. Breathe naturally. So we come back to our acronym STOP. We paused, we moved into our practice. There were moments of stillness. Those moments are to create space to observe, to take a conscious breath and to observe what's happening. When we stop and observe, we have the capacity to be able to work with our feelings. We also access a deeper resource within us. So we pause, we collect ourselves. We turn our eyes to ourselves first. So now that you've paused, become aware of the breath. Notice the toes, the feet, and the ankles. Into and through the length of both legs, lower legs and knees, upper legs, hips, buttocks, pelvis. Notice the belly, the back, and the ribs. Notice hands, fingers, and thumbs. Lower arms and elbows and upper arms. Underarms and shoulders. Neck, face, and head. Being aware of your whole body now. Observe what is arising. let yourself rest in this deeper awareness. Let yourself rest in the inner resources that are right there within you. Bring your awareness now back to your breathing. Notice sensations in the feet and in the hands. Take a nice long in-breath with a slow, easy out-breath. And another nice long in-breath with a slow, easy out-breath. Breathe naturally now as you start to welcome movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your head gently from side to side. Move into the master stretch. On the inhale, take the arms up over the head. Lengthen from fingertips to toes. As you exhale, hug everything in the center. Rock or move in any way you need to. Make your way to the right or left side and pause there. Don't come up quickly. Take an inhale and an exhale. Using your hands and arms now, come up slowly. And I'm going to stop our recording so we can do our Om. Well, actually, let's do our Om together. So bring the hands to the heart. Breathe in deeply. Place the hands palms up in the hip creases, tip forward. Breathe in fully, exhale completely. Tipping up. All right, let me stop the recording.